Hello, welcome back. We are on game two now of Stony Brook versus Denver. Denver taking a demanding game one, or a commanding lead in game one, stomping with that Chaos Knight and leading the charge. I am Zingle, joining me is Hachiko, and draft is underway. Are you there?
Yep.
Okay.
Same bands from last time.
Understandably so, though, but they do switch it up on Stony Brook, a respect ban for that Earthshaker off lane. I think it's very justified too. That Earthshaker somehow got a 10-minute blink despite being tri-laned bottom. He got a solo kill on the Sven, and then he kind of just led the tempo for that game with his initiations. Very good
Yeah.
idea to ban it out and not give him a comfort hero.
CK might have carried that game, but Earthshaker was the one creating the space for him to do it. He's
And
creating so much pressure on the Sven as well as through the mid game with his early blink.
yep. And I think these are the same bans coming out of Denver. It could just be they don't want to go against the Shadow Demon Luna or Shadow Demon anything for that matter, and they don't want to go against Lone Druid because they respect and understand the strength of the hero. Nothing too mind-boggling coming out here, but do we expect similar strategies coming out of Stony Brook? They're going to double down here and say, we know what we were doing, we just had a little bit of a fluke last game, and we will show you that we are the better team? Or are they going to change it up and say, okay, we respect that, you beat us with what we wanted, now we're going to beat you with something new. Going to come back into the series and make it a 1-1.
Yeah, it felt like they had a pretty good draft and they were doing well in the early game as well, but just a couple fights didn't go their way, and then CK got completely out of control, and they're gonna start off with a bit of a different first pick here on the Crystal Maiden.
Oh yeah, this is definitely a unique first pick, but it does offer a lot. That aura can help out all of your lanes at the same time. You don't even have to be there and you're having a global presence. So you can now pick off laners and mid laners and safe laners who are often mana starved and struggle a little bit, and now you can, help everywhere at once without having to do too much. And you can also farm extremely well as a support here. They are not looking to have their supports fall behind like they did in last game.
In terms of a first pick, though,
And it's kind of weak.
doesn't reveal too much, but it doesn't do too much for you either.
Yeah, it's a very squishy hero, very greedy. It could point towards a team fight lineup if you have any sort of setup like a black hole or a void chrono, but that's not the easiest sort of setup. But still something to note that Denver definitely is thinking about.
The idea might just be to see what Denver is deciding to run this game and not trying to commit themselves to anything just from their first pick.
But it's very possible Denver here. They picked Ogre last game. They picked it this game. They're saying, we beat you with this strategy. We might change up a few picks, but we will still just run at you and beat you in the early game and mid game. So, confident first pick coming here out of Ogre. Ogre is a good hero, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't really offer as much as a lot of other supports. You have a very short range and long cast time stun. You have a slow that's good at harassing, but it doesn't really, win too much. And then a amplify for your carry. And, good skill set, but not the scariest of things in the world come mid and late game.
He was one of the top tier pickups in 6.88 in terms of his support, but as of this patch, he's fallen off quite a bit as he doesn't provide some type of instant initiation for your team, which is pretty important in this patch. You definitely want to have the ability to get pickoffs and gain map control from that.
And with this Slardar picked up, it was Slardar on their team last time, right? No, I don't remember.
Slaughter was on Stony Brook,
Yeah,
but
so
they're gonna
Slardar was
take
on
the
Stony
CK
Brook.
for themselves.
So they're actually swapping it up here. Denver steals Stony Brook Slardar, and then Stony Brook comes right back at them and say, okay, you'll beat us with Chaos Knight. We'll show you how it's really done. And they pick it up, and with that CM Aura now, Chaos Knight won't have that typical problem of being mana starved. So a good 1-2 punch here, a good setup stun as well. Chain stunning from Chaos Knight and Crystal Maiden by themselves could be upwards of 6-7 seconds. So definitely a good combo here, and I think it's going to shape up to be a very similar, just mirrored matchup in this game.
But the fact that they ran CK themselves with such success, they probably have an idea as well in terms of picking around it, as the CK player is the captain for Denver.
That is very true. AA ban coming out from Stony Brook. That is a concerning ban from Denver. You are not really sure what you're afraid of there, but there are quite a few powerhouse heroes that are instantly countered by that, such as Alchemist or Huskar or Morphling. None of them really synergize that well with Chaos Knight, but if it was banned for a reason, I'd like to think so. What do you expect coming out of Stony Brook here with that AA ban second phase?
Alchemist is actually a hero that has a quite interesting place in this patch, as he's a lot worse than he was in the last one, but if you can get him at the right time against a certain draft, he's definitely still a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, everyone thought once 7.0 came out and Alchemist's Grievel's Greed went from 6 to 2 for the multiplier on bounty runes that he wouldn't be viable, but just recently I think it's been picked up in some of the pro scene matches, and I think it is gonna slowly make a comeback because Alchemist at the end of the day is still the hard to kill, tanky, in your face Alchemist.
Yeah, there was just a game today where NP picked it up and MSS actually missed all their black holes, but it didn't matter. They had Alchemist. They won the game anyway.
Exactly. So possibly we're gonna see it this semester. We saw it a lot last year during that 6.8 patch, but I don't know. Only time will tell. For now, we see the bans of Darkseer and Oracle. We saw these banned last game as well. Could just be respect ban. Could be the idea of there being too strong. We saw, Darkseer picked an Oracle band, but they were both in the entire pick ban phase. And
how do you think about CK support, and then they pick Alchemist? They give the CK the Ags, and then CK creates replicants, or his ulti. He uses his ulti on Alch, and he just has you have 5 Alchs or 4 Alchs.
It'd be funny. And I actually would not be surprised to see something like that. Chaos Knight isn't only a safe laner, he is a 4-position hero. But they ban out PA. Maybe that is the case then. PA does do well against Alchemist, and AA does do well against Alchemist. So they could just be pulling a 1-2 on us and have a support CK here. If they do, I would be very excited to watch this game, but I'd also be somewhat disappointed that Alchemist is making a comeback. Nothing wrong with these teams, but I'm just not a fan of watching Alchemist. It does not make for particularly entertaining Dota. Omni Knight coming out.
Alchemist is fun. He's farms for 20 minutes, and then he just shows up. No one can kill him, and then you just watch one team run at the others for another 10 minutes with the unkillable Alch.
Yeah. So Omni Knight coming out of Denver here. That's most likely going to be an offlane, and having that Slardar be a support. It could be a dual offlane. However, I think it is more likely to have Omni as a core and Slardar as a support. Sand King.
The thing about Omni is he just has a hard time finding his spot if he doesn't get early levels up.
Exactly. An under-leveled, under-farmed Omni doesn't really provide too much, and you'll just get jumped on and killed instantly at the start of every fight. And with Sand King being picked up here, that is a Blink Initiator who can do just that, blink into the backlines and kill. So a good pickup from Stony Brook here. They have a Blink Initiating team fighter. They have Chaos Knight who could be a support, could be a core. And they just come right back at it.
Pass OD Omni coming out.
Oh no. I didn't want to bring that up quite yet, but I mean, I'm in no spot to judge them. They want to get the win. Every win matters a lot, but that strategy is a little bit resident sleeper as well. It is very strong because OD in the early game, his biggest problem is just dying, and Omni Knight just completely stops that in its tracks. Stony Brook, though, going with the Tinker. I like it. It doesn't really stop any...
fairly good pickup, because the tower pushing from Denver is quite weak now.
Yeah, it was already weak to begin with, and then just add Tinker into the mix, and they're going to have a lot of trouble taking the base of Stony Brook. So, good pickup, and it could synergize nicely if they have a Tinker initiating the fight with a Blink late game and then Chaos Knight going on everybody else. They have a lot of good lockdown on this team.
One in the early... versus Tinker, who actually wins that mid matchup.
Tinker, if you're a good Tinker player. Otherwise, OD can just use Astral to farm and ignore the laser. But if Tinker is a very strong...
Tinker win it more, but I feel like it's relatively even.
Uh-huh.
depending on skill.
And Lifestealer band up here, a very good band. It combos nicely with Slardar and OD. You have a frontliner and you have a initiator from Slardar, so very, very good band. And it does do fairly well against Tinker and Chaos Knight, so good bands coming out from both teams. The Nyx ban, however, that's interesting. That could be an offlaner or support and just swap up with Sand King, so they're afraid of even more lockdown.
And just that counter to OD.
Yeah, and it also could be a Ember Spirit still picked up, and they could just put OD in the safe lane with the Omni Knight. It's kind of untraditional lanes, but the Nyx Assassin is very good against Ember Spirit, so maybe it's a sign that they're planning on picking that one up.
So, alright, let's look at... Alright, so Stony Brook will be picking next. The cursor is bugged again, and it's going to be Centaur as their last pick.
And
rounding it out, so it's looking to be a support Sand King, probably?
Yep, most likely. And with a Chaos Knight and CM in that lane, that is a lot of lockdown for whoever the offlaner is of Denver. So having a stun and in the late game having any sort of like disable with Tinker's Sheep, having a stun or lockdown on all 5 of these heroes is very scary for the side of Denver. Any sort of botched initiation or being caught out will end most likely in a bad fight for them. They don't really have the best counter initiation with only Slardar with the blink stun.
What is their last pick here? And it's going to be their carry once again. Saint Blue saving the carry last pick. And what is he going to come up with now? I believe it was CK last game, right?
I think so. But with CK already stacked up by Stony Brook, they're going to have to change it up. They will go for the
Medusa this time.
So it might be a mid Medusa here against the Tinker. You just kind of spam out the snakes and then a safe lane OD against Centaur because you can imprison and Arcane Orb down the Centaur. So it might actually be these odd lanes, but still, this is a strong late game that counters out Stony Brook's strong late game. Medusa does very well against the Chaos Knight, who is going to be the safe lane carry. And I don't know. It's I don't think this is a particularly big draft win one way or the other, but it will spell out for a very long and interesting game. Or a potentially very long and interesting game. I don't want to say quite yet that it will be.
It definitely has the potential to, with the Dusa and a Tinker having the ability to stall forever. But I feel like if one team gets a relatively good start, they could also snowball into a pretty fast victory, maybe around the 30-minute mark or something like that.
Alrighty. Well, with the game underway, I'm going to go ahead and do the introductions. On the side of Denver, we have Mrs. Saint Blue on the Medusa. We have Saint Blue on the support Ogre. Denver, the trusty Oak on the offlane Omni Knight with a Don Juan Diddly Dong Slardar and mid Z King OD. On the side of Stony Brook, we have the mid Dark Raider Tinker, a Savior CK carry who activated the Shrine just to show off a little bit. Dragon Knight on the support Sand King, offlane Masquerade Centaur Warrunner, and the safe lane support Only Hope Crystal Maiden.
I just realized that. I thought Mrs. Saint Blue is the same as Saint Blue, but
Nope.
They're actually two different people.
Two different players. Two different roles. They are blending together though, so very clear. I'd hope there is very clear synergy between these two, but maybe, maybe not. Actually, where is this ogre hiding? Oh, he was up here. So it looks like 4 heroes from the side of Denver are going to be going up to the top lane. It could be a infest just at level 1 to try to get a quick kill. They know CM is a very easy kill in the early game, so could just look for an easy start. And looks like similar idea maybe coming out of Stony Brook here with both their support and core going, or carry going down towards bottom. Neither team has any sort of TP in to place wards, so they will not be able to scout out the other teams doing the same thing, but we will see shortly. Once this pause continues, it seems like it was just a bathroom break, right? Yes, it is. But with the G going out, the game will be starting up in a second. What do you think about these lanes? Do you think they will just commit and go an aggressive lane, or is this just for the start of the game?
Um, they're running up here right now. It might be them looking for a rune contest, but I think the OD is mid. He just has a bottle queued up,
Yeah.
and he is their mid player from last game.
Yep. So OD will be mid. It will be the safe lane Medusa against the Centaur. A very heavy regen build coming out of both the Medusa and the OD. He has 3 shared tangos and a healing salve already bought up. And Animal Courier
Here
pinned
they
out.
go. 4-man smoke from
Did they not
Denver.
activate the Courier though? Denver's going to use that smoke to get back to base on one of the heroes to activate the Courier, while the other 2 are looking to maybe infest and go for that level 1 fight at the rune.
Whoops.
Whoops. Chat wheel whoops, whoops, whoops over and over again. And it looks like they're going to go for the gank, but they will not make it quick enough. The ward will go out without the smoke popping, though, so they do get a nice ward. It will be the regular runes 2 for 2, and seems like regular laning. Actually, it might be an aggressive lane still. St. Blue coming up to the top lane, might buy a TP and go bottom to help the Medusa, but they might be just content leaving the Medusa to 1v1 a Centaur. Does this work for Denver if they 1v1 a Medusa against a Centaur, or will they suffer in multiple lanes now if this does not go well in their aggressive lane?
I think Dusa can do okay in the lane, but Centaur definitely has the potential of playing aggressive on her if he pulls the aggro back and just zones her from range creeps with the stun and the double edge. She's a pretty low HP hero.
The aggression top has started up already. Dragon Knight getting low and Slardar getting low. Both teams having a lot of disable and lock and heal up, but looks like both will just disengage. Both of the supports on the side of Stony Brook will get low and run away from this Ogre. That is one specialty of the Ogre. I was questioning it a little bit in the draft phase, but you are very strong at these early game trades and fights.
They're making pretty good use of the Ogre now. Crystal Maiden is not able to jungle up at all. She's felt quite pressured to be in lane to help her CK.
But bottom, like I was saying, this is Medusa solo against Centaur, who got return level 1. So Medusa's actually gonna take a lot of damage every time she pokes away at the Centaur, and the lane will be back into favor of Centaur, so he will get his levels. Maybe this goes back into favor of Medusa once you get multiple points in Mystic Stake, but in the meantime, I think this favors Stony Brook a little bit. Aggression coming out top.
Once you get multiple points in Snake, it's going to be quite hard for him to stay in the lane. He's a melee hero. He's going to get a lot of his mana burned, as well as HP.
Yeah. In the mid lane, we do see OD winning this matchup so far, just narrowly. He has more last hits, but less denies. He will use the Imprison offensively to just disrupt Dark Raider's last hitting, and same thing will go the other way. Dark Raider gets disrupted, and he'll just laser back. It will be kind of a tit-for-tat sort of trading mid. Both of them actually pretty even now on CS.
It's just a back and forth fighting at the top. We're going to see Slaughter get Reality Rifted in, but nothing's going to come of it. So there's a lot of spell usage in the lane, but no real kill potential yet. The Sand King did go close to falling, but he was able to stun across the tree line.
Yeah, it'll take an overcommitment or like a bad positioning from either team to get a kill. But with Omni Knight rotating out now to get the wards and runes, he will actually be a little bit of aggression top. But once again, he gets Reality Rifted in and Sarah just stuns and walks away. And a missed stun from Sand King. It'll just have a lane right back under the tower for the Denver side. Oh, the overlay. Oh no. I messed up the overlay. Denver. Oh, I am so sorry, everybody. That was like 3 minutes. I keep making that mistake. That's twice now in the multiple casts. But regardless, not too much happening. No first blood coming out, so you don't miss too much with it. That's a little bit annoying. Sorry about that. Meanwhile, top Pink's coming out. They will find Dragon Knight on the side here. Looks like a little two-prong initiation here. Slardar will go for Dragon Knight, Sand King in the back, but the Chaos Knight will stall the other heroes. I don't know.
Medusa bot, though, in trouble.
Yeah, he's getting ran at. He does not have much mana left to use his mana shield. Masquerade is slightly taking over with this lane. He only has 1 point in return, so he is committing for this kill. He wants to just run up and double edge Mrs.
Does he
St.
kill her there with the double edge? He
It's
had
close.
a chance to, but he didn't. I think it is barely not enough with the mana shield.
Yeah. I don't know. I think these lanes are favored for Stony Brook at the moment. Medusa is not getting as much as she would like to out of this lane, or at least she's not stopping Centaur at all. Centaur is leading in last hits, and their off lane, their aggro lane on Denver is not working out too well. They have yet to get a kill, but they have also not lost any kills, so it's not too bad. Tinker hasted running towards bottom. He will see the courier. He will hit it once, but he actually won't have enough to kill it, so he might turn and focus onto the Medusa, but both of the targets are getting away, so he will just haste back, get a TP, and probably
Sand
go
King's
mid.
here, though.
They don't necessarily have the kill potential. They will bait a TP out of the Omni Knight at the very least, and then Dragon Knight will just Burrow Strike away.
Dragon Knight Burrow striking. That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, Burrow, Blink, Blur, I don't know, words are tough.
No, this Dragon Knight is the hero.
Yeah, Dragon Knight, Blink Strike, Burrow Strike. I'll try to say Sand King as much as I can, but often I just revert to the name, so hopefully not too much confusing caused by that. So with the laning phase 5 minutes in, it's about halfway through the traditional laning phase. We'll see very even matchups. The offlaner is getting a lot more out of it for the side of Stony Brook, but their safe lane and their mids are both pretty even. Actually, I take that back. I was looking at Chaos Knight as if he was a support, but Chaos Knight is the core and he only has 6 last hits. There will be a First Blood onto Crystal Maiden. They're going to look for more. They will get a double kill onto the Slardar, killing the Crystal Maiden and the Chaos Knight. So the second that Sand King rotated out, the Slardar will kill both Crystal Maiden and Chaos Knight, 2 for 0.
Finally, they were able to find a kill.
Yeah, and I completely made a mistake there. That's a very bad lane coming out of Stony Brook. Their core Chaos Knight only has 6 last hits at 6 minutes. This is a disaster, and this is, like we were saying last game, this is not a hero that particularly comes back or farms well, so they need this lane to go in their favor, and they're going to be a little bit desperate with this dive here. They're going to try to kill the Ogre, and with the chain stuns, they will get him. So, a little bit going back into their favor, but definitely it's a strong aggro lane from Denver now.
I think the biggest thing is the supports wasted their time trying to babysit him as well. And if they knew it was going to be this bad, they might have just had a better chance jungling themselves and then coming in later for the kills.
Oh, for sure. Centaur's ultimate coming out. They will use that to escape on Centaur as well as going for an aggressive play top, a 2-prong initiation or 2-prong use of it. But Centaur will be, or Chaos Knight will be the first one to go down. Slardar will have a right click from CM, chase him down and finish him off. Dragon Knight here on the Sand King will get bursted down by the heal from Omni Knight's rotation. It will be a 2 for 1 so far. But CM is going to be slowed up by the repel degen aura and a heal up coming to secure the kill. So that is now a 3 for 1. But it's not over yet. Chaos Knight respawns, teleports back in, stuns up onto the Ogre, and he's chasing him down.
Omni has another heal.
Ogre is level 6, and Chaos Knight's only level 5. With the Reality Rift there and the heal from Omni, the Ogre might get away here. A stun misses from Sand King, and they will turn around and get the kill onto Chaos Knight once again. He is now 3 deaths and only 1 kill.
Ogre does fall,
yeah,
which gave a lot of gold away to Dragon Knight.
Sand King went really deep for it. He gets a 2-man stun. He might get away here if there's no TP rotation, and it doesn't look like they will, so he does overcommit, but he gets a kill and gets away with his life. The chase will end once he gets to the high ground. So at the end of the day, I think that was a 4 for 2. But Chaos Knight died twice in a row after already dying once in the lane, so they are definitely not happy with this top lane's
A small win for Sand King there, but look at the net worth chart right now. CK is second to the bottom.
Ouch.
Maybe it is a support Sand King or a support CK.
The fact that he's actually bottom on his team. He is poorer than his support Crystal Maiden 5 position. This is definitely not their idea for how this game was going to go. And now with an Amplify and a stun coming up, they will chain stun him. So Chaos Knight is just going to burst down once again to the 4-second chain stun followed by the Purify from Omni Knight. And they might go for more. CM has no real escape, and he will be going under tower here. Slardar misses the stun onto 2, while the Sand King does get a stun onto 2, but it is not the end of it yet. Trusty Oak going deep, gets the Purify onto the CM, gets a right click or 2, gets rooted up, so both of these are very low. The Courier actually dies to the tower here, so a bit of poor micro. Meanwhile, on the side, they will get the Ogre, and it looks like Slardar will be going down from Dark Raider if he gets Vision, but Slardar juking and jiving. He gets a stun onto the Chaos Knight. He will run away. He will actually go back for a kill onto Dark Raider. He will get stunned up by Chaos Knight, but he's still going for it. If he has a stun up, he needs 20 more mana, and he will get lasered down. So a little bit of an overcommitment there out of Denver. They lose 2 and a Courier. Omni does teleport out, but definitely not what they want going for that dive there.
How does that change the net worth up now? Medusa's going to be at the top. Sand King is going to be okay as well. But CK is still hurting. He's surpassed his Crystal Maiden now, but that's not the start you want to have for a CK.
Oh, for sure, no. And especially with Medusa being a counter to CK, once you pop your ultimate, all of those illusions will just crumble. You kind of need that lead and be able to burst Medusa down before that ultimate manages to turn around onto you. But with Centaur winning bottom lane, the net worths of these two are pretty even. They're actually within only a few gold of each other right now. It definitely is not what Denver wants for their bottom lane, or what Stony Brook wants for their laning.
They're gonna keep up this aggro lane.
Yeah.
They're not rotating anywhere. They're just staying here.
If it ain't broke, don't
with
fix
shutting
it.
down CK as much as they can.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And CK is broke.
11 last hits at 11 minutes. Feels bad, man.
That is brutal. Oh, he did pass the 1 CS per minute mark with that 12th CS. So, and he has over half of his team's deaths too. His team has 7 deaths and he has 4 of them. They are feeling the desperation now, and Chaos Knight, he can't really farm, so they're forced to kind of commit to this lane and just farm away while they have a chance. Or
he can't really
lack thereof.
either.
Yeah, lack
He can
thereof.
do it poorly, but all their eggs are in this Tinker basket right now.
Meanwhile, let's go back to mid. Tinker does have his boots of travel, but he is still 2,000 off of his blink. Not doing particularly well, nor particularly poorly. He is leading on net worth now. 500 ahead of his opponent mid, and just narrowly ahead of his offlaner and the safe laner from Denver. So
OD does have a Midas, so he's gonna catch up very soon.
Tinker is likely the only remaining saving grace. Centaur is farming well, but there's not too much a Centaur can do against all of these huge cores from Denver's squad. But as I say that, they might be just committing. They might have put too many eggs in that Chaos Knight basket, and now they're switching over. They're going to try to help the Centaur. They're going to look for a kill onto bottom Medusa with a teleport in from potential Tinker bots. But I don't know if that's going to happen. They're just kind of posturing up bottom, but they're not making the move. Meanwhile, top, their Chaos Knight is being ran at once again. An ultimate coming out of CM will kind of push them off to the side. And Chaos Knight looks like he wants to go in there, but he will have to run away. Centaur Centaur Warrunner ult will get him away, and Tinker coming up to secure a kill onto Ogre. CM does freeze up the Omni Knight, but he will just heal himself up.
Oh, he healed a bit early there. Could have.
Oh, but a Blink Dagger onto the Slardar goes in and finishes off the kill onto the Chaos Knight. Dark Raider goes there. He tries to get the finish up with a laser, but he will actually be chased down now.
He's gonna need some bashing here to get this kill.
But he does have Stomp still, so he will juke out, he will dodge the laser, and he will look for that kill, but with Centaur coming up there, he will just take what he got, killing the Chaos Knight and CM, and they will get away. I feel bad now. This Chaos Knight is not having a good game, and there's not too much room to recover.
Bot.
Yeah, I saw the tail end of it. The snake bouncing right off of the Sand King, and the last hit getting Sand King down to 50.
One more attack.
Right. But Sand King, they're finding the OD, but he literally just walks right past him. He will get the stun off and an ultimate. disruption coming out onto the OD. He will just get away, but chase up by CM and Tinker there. Laser was about to come out, but CM secures the kill. All right.
So CK is building into Helm of the Dawn, but at this point, do you think it's still the right build?
Honestly, I don't know what the right build would be. Maybe even just go a Midas and hope it goes late enough. You have a Tinker to stall out the game, and you just need some way to get back into it. You are once again the bottom of your team's net worth. The bounty rune will pop them up a little bit, but still, having a carry with only 2,600 net worth at 14 minutes is a huge hindrance to everyone else. So until you get up and running, it is going to be basically a 4 versus 6 game with you dying over and over again. 5 deaths up on their carry. I don't mean to harp on this.
Slaughter is building carry as well.
Yeah, I don't mean to harp on this guy over and over again. It was a tough lane, but when the offlaner has double your farm and 6, 2, and 2, it is not looking good. And a smoke gang coming out. They're looking for another kill. They don't want this to stop. They have a blink. They will actually change targets here and kill the CM with a blink stun, purify. And they might look for more. They do manage to get the ignite off onto the Chaos Knight. Blink Centaur stun will catch onto 2, and a turnaround stun will maybe end up killing out the Ogre, but he does get purified up, and they kill Chaos Knight before that happens. A blink or a stun from the Sand King will secure the kill onto Ogre, but they will also get a triple kill onto Slardar. Very bloody fight, 3 for 3. This definitely favors the side of Stony Brook because they were so far behind. But with Chaos Knight dying, it doesn't help the right heroes. The support Sand King.
Tinker's blink.
Yeah, the support Sand King is almost over 1,000 ahead of net worth onto the carry Chaos Knight.
ZK managed to take the mid tier 1 tower during that time.
Yeah, no, that was earlier. That was in the fight before, actually. The OD taking that tier 1.
Oh yeah, he was pushing towards the tier 2.
Yep. And then bottom tower, Medusa is poking away at that tier 1. She will have a Dragon Lance coming out on the courier. Or no, she already has it, so she can poke at towers from outside of the attack range now. And now none of the tier 1s are really too safe if she is in the right spot at the right time. So, the Blink Dagger and Tinker, we were mentioning this just a second ago. Is this enough to turn the tides? He will be able to turn and get a lot of burst damage from his laser rocket combo anywhere on the map within just a few seconds. And
I think once he gets Aether Lens out, it's going to be a bit of a spike for him, but
yeah,
the big deal is going to be the Aghanims and his timing on that. They're going to have a time where they're going to be pretty strong, but with the CK this poor, between this time and when he gets the Ags, he needs to start to get something up, so even if they do win fights, they can clear towers.
Looks like a Slardar with an Invis Rune will be looking for a kill on the Sand King bottom. He will instantly blink in and stun, followed up by Purify from the Omni Knight, but a Centaur ultimate will get them away. Yes, it will. They will not continue with this chase. However, in the backlines, Medusa will ult onto the Chaos Knight. The laser will come out and kill the Omni Knight, who dove a little bit deep, and the rotation from Stony Brook here could end up getting them back into this game. They get 1 kill, they get 2 onto the Ogre, and now they're looking for this Medusa, who is very low on mana, and they do have a blink on the Tinker, but she is slithering away pretty quickly now with that Yasha picked up. On the sides, they will get a blink or a Force Staff stun onto the Slardar, followed up by a blink stun on Centaur War Runner and a Reality Rift coming out of Chaos Knight. So this is 3 kills. This is how they get back into it. And now with Medusa being stuck behind the tower, that is going to be 4 for 0. A very sloppy engagement from the side of Denver ends up going the way of Stony Brook. And, you know, I was being very negative towards this laning phase, but this mid-game fighting is definitely in favor of Chaos Knight. In Stony Brook, despite their Chaos Knight. And now they're looking for more. Ogre TP's bottom. Centaur will just kind of limp away. He will get away here alive. But they could have the potential to turn around and kill Ogre after that tower goes down. And there will be another kill going the way of Stony Brook. That is now 5 in a row. The kills are now into their favor, and hope is not lost, for sure. And now look, Tinker just got his blink recently and almost has enough for that Aether Lens. Only a few hundred gold off. He is top of the net worth by a significant margin. And I'm sure Denver's feeling a little bit of pressure now despite that early game advantage.
They're going to feel like they 3-2-2'd a bit, but in terms of playing the game, they're probably just going to sit back go, alright, we don't throw like that again. We just farm up on Dusa as well as Odie with the Midas and just take this a bit later.
You say that it was a 3-2-2, but I think it was equal parts of Stony Brook just keeping it together and playing very well in those past few fights, reacting with all of their team on the Denver dives. And like right here top, it looked like there was going to be a dive top, and they TP everybody in. They sent our ult to chase down, and they're actually going to get a return kill onto the OD here. A 4-second stun coming out, and this is how they get back into it, just team fighting, outperforming the enemy. And they will find Omni Knight as well. They dive past the tower. Omni Knight just kind of standing still. He will be burst down by the Tinker and right-clicked away by everybody else. So that will be actually a CM right-click securing the kill. A 7-kill favor now, or 5-kill favor with 7 kills in a row for Stony Brook.
Yeah, we saw this in the last game where their team play was definitely superior than Denver. But
I am a believer
CK
now.
was able to bring it back, but Medusa doesn't follow the same role. She can't really just come in there and kill everyone.
And now Chaos Knight is going back for that Midas, a recovery Midas, has it with the money from that last hit, will get it at 20 minutes. I think, I'm a believer for Stony Brook's comeback here. The net worth is now 3,000 in their favor. XP is the same, and with a Midas to kind of propel that even further, or at least keep even with the carry and a mid laner from the other squad, this is just what Stony Brook needs. They need to just hunt for kills when their ults and cooldowns are up, and then just farm away with these Midases and defensive wards. Do they? Yeah, they have the one aggressive ward, actually. It's the other team that has defensive wards coming up now after those past few fights have gone so poorly.
Slaughter does have a Midas himself, and he's still farming quite well.
Yeah.
Just this Tinker is a bit out of control right now, and they're not really capable of fighting because they do have the stuns and lockdown to allow that Tinker to dish out his damage.
Yeah, Denver is by no means out of this game. They do have an OD, Omni, and Medusa, very good scaling carries, and then a support Slardar. Actually, it was a core offlane Slardar, I guess, with a support Omni, who is scaling well. So they haven't lost quite yet, despite how these past few fights have gone. And it looks like there will be a fight top. The entirety of Stony Brook here is ready to initiate onto Ogre Magi, but a counter initiation from Slardar gets a stun onto 3. Ogre will go down. CM will get an ultimate off onto the Slardar, so Slardar will also go down. Medusa used the ultimate, but these marches are actually going to kill OD here. OD here is 100 health. He will commit and use the ultimate. It will end up securing kills onto 2 with Medusa getting the right click onto 1. So it is a 3 for 2 so far, and Medusa is trying to get away here, but a stun coming up in a second.
Double stunned here.
Yep, a double stun coming out. It will be a secured kill onto the Omni Knight, but with that Shrine coming up, Medusa just gets so much healing out of it. It's actually going to be a return kill onto Centaur there for 600, so 3 for 4 at the end of the day, it looked like. Definitely still kind of even. Both teams gaining 900 net worth, both teams gaining 900 or 4,000 XP, but a lot of that going towards the Medusa, who stayed alive for the fight. So she is level 18 now, a completed Manta style, and once she wants it, she has the money for it. So she is getting big. She is hitting her timing. She is almost on par with
the numbers. That fight definitely favored Denver by a large margin. That fight looked almost lost for them, but the fact that they're able to get the extra heals off on the Omni and clean up that fight was quite impressive. The OD, I think the huge turning point was the OD getting his sanities clipped off before dying.
He died for it, but he turned the tides of the fight. And now with that, Tinker is still ahead of the net worth, but the next 3 are keeping close behind, with Medusa only 1,500 behind now. It's still anybody's game. It is back to even, though after losing multiple wiped fights in a row, it definitely is a morale boost as well to get return kills in the last one. This is I think this is shaping up to be like a 60-minute game, to be honest.
Neither side can end it at this point. This Tinker is way too farmed.
Yep.
As well as their CK on the side of the Stony Brook not being able to push at this point, as he can't, he doesn't have the items for it either.
Tinker hitting 18 here, now completing the Axe. Did he actually save the skill point? I think he's just saved the skill point. He didn't even put it into the rearm, even though he has it available, because he doesn't want to spend that extra mana just for the 0.75 seconds.
Yeah, usually you only have 2 at this point until you pick up a Hex, and then,
and
then you skill it.
With his Ag's Aether Lens complete, going into the Hex, he is becoming a menace in these fights. A single laser could just completely stop the momentum of Denver's Wombo here. But as I say that, they're going to go and they're going to blow up Omni Knight within a second. And on the backlines, they will CM Alt and Sand King stun for the Ogre kill. So that will be a 2 for 0. They are going to go. They will get a tier 1, and they might look for more with a tier 2 here opened up. Medusa will be top. She will get the tower tier 1 in trade, but a blink stun coming out and a blink follow up from Centaur and Sand King. They don't actually have the burst here to kill the Slardar, but they will commit. They will use the Centaur War Runner ultimate and get that kill. And now 3 dead, 4-0 on the side of Stony Brook. They will get the tier 1 trade and they will back off before that tier 2 goes down.
Yeah, the fact that Dusa alone can just keep them away, they won't be able to get the tier 2. But that's another big win for them. They're slowly clawing their way back into the game.
And surprisingly, no team has really put any focus or emphasis on that Roshan. They're both just saying, we need to just secure our farm and our map control, and then we'll use that to try to secure a game-ending play.
But I think with Tinker's power spikes, they've hit it very well, and they have the heroes to do it. Their team fight is so much better than Denver's right now.
And look at Chaos Knight. He's farming up. He has that Midas recovery. Midas is paying off. He has a full armlet done now, and his net worth is catching up to those top 3 from Denver. So, definitely not a non-factor anymore in these initiations and in these fights in general. He is no longer just a feeding machine.
Alright, another smoke from them.
They're looking for the Medusa or the OD. They will run into the Slardar and the OD here. It will show, and they will actually end up being a counter initiation here. Repel comes out onto the Slardar, so they have to change targets to the Omni Knight. They will kill him in a matter of seconds. Medusa and Ogre are on the back lines. Medusa will get swapped right in and will use the ultimate. Chaos Knight using his illusions to not face towards Medusa, but he is just getting poked down. The bouncing laser.
Look at the laser.
Deal a lot of damage, and they're actually going to go in now for counter initiation. Medusa will go down, and they're going to end up trying to chase the OD on the backline as well. Imprisonment comes out, but they will have the Reality Rift in only a second. That's going to be a 4 for 0 trade. This Tinker is doing work. He is godlike, I believe. He is 9-0 and 11. The showing from this Tinker is very reminiscent to that Chaos Knight from last game. He is the one carrying the team on his back. And you know, I was saying this game might go long, but with these kills and these objectives, they are now snowballing back pretty hard. Stony Brook almost 7,500 ahead in net worth and almost 10,000 ahead in XP. So a couple more fights like that, a Roshan secured, and they could be knocking at the high ground's door.
Yeah, what Denver needs to do right now is to slow the game down and play closer together. Because if they go on Dusa, they have the heroes to save, but if the Omni gets caught first, it looks quite grim for them, as the Tinker is able to just shoot the laser through, and they're not able to dish out the damage with the mischance.
With Medusa still being this behind on items, she is going back for a Lincoln Sphere, which I don't think it cancels a laser if the laser was not initially targeted at her, correct? Am I correct here?
Pretty sure it doesn't.
Yeah, so this Lincoln's might end up not helping as much because the laser coming out will be bouncing to her every single time. And I don't know, she doesn't really have the damage output. You saw her get her entire ultimate off and Chaos Knight just kind of turn around and ignore her while she just poked away. She went for Manta Style, which is a little bit of damage, a Dragon Lance, which is a little bit of stats, and now going for a Lincoln's, which is not really any damage. So I really hope to see a just double, not a double damage, what am I saying, a damage item next and just stack them up after this Lincoln's. Maybe an MKB Rapier or an MKB Butterfly.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Dusa almost got caught here, but it's gonna slither away. How is Denver gonna get their supports back in this game, though? They're getting poorer and poorer as the game is going. sitting only on their boots and some small items.
Unfortunately, I don't think there is a good way to get these heroes back. Like I was saying, Ogre is fairly good in that early aggression, but come late game, you are just a walking bloodlust machine. You don't really offer much to fights, and you don't really have any good way to farm and scale. And same thing goes with Omni. When you're a support Omni, you were saying this, that you don't really do too much. But we see here a Blink Initiation onto the OD bottom. He will get healed up, but Omni will be Ewell's and distracted for the time being. That is 2 dead, going the way of Stony Brook's lead, and now they might look to get another tower off of this. Those 2 don't have buybacks. And that looks like it's just going to be a free tower. The heroes on Denver are just positioning in base in preparation for a high ground push, but very well may just be a tower and done. But no, they blink in. They are looking for a little bit more here. They have 2 dead, so they're figuring I'm going to either force a buyback or force that tier 3 to go down.
And Tinker's Hex is up, but Dusa will have the Lincolns already prepared.
Yeah. BKB used out of Slardar just to block the Chaos Knight stun. They will try to get the Sanking in the back lines, but he has a Force Staff. He has a stun in a second. He'll get double Force Staff, and he will get away here. So BKB used on Slardar, and they just walk away now. Stony Brook got something out of it. Although the 10-second BKB on Slardar isn't the biggest deal, it is still something. So Tier 2 gone, 2 kills going their way, BKB activated. They're going to go back, try to farm, probably go for that Tier 2 top next, and Roshan. Ping's going out for Roshan. And
this Hex is coming out on Tinker very shortly.
yeah. So like you were saying, the Lincolns is good in that manner for blocking the first Hex, but you can just refresh and Hex away, so it won't do as much as it could.
I feel like Odie has been quite a non-factor in this game. He just hasn't had the opportunity to do anything.
Who, Odie, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going for that BKB now, so he doesn't have to rely on Omni Knight. But with these Blink Initiations, he's dying before he can even react, so the BKB might not be enough to save him.
He didn't do too badly in the mid lane, but in terms of game impact, towards that early stage of the game, around like 20-minute mark, the Tinker was owning while Odie was just kind of split pushing while his team was dying.
And now with this, the farm is 15k in favor of both net worth and XP. Stony Brook came back from a very struggled laning phase to a very dominant mid game with their superior team fights and rotations across the map.
Alright, I think Tinker went for Dagon.
Yep,
right?
Tinker.
He did go for Dagon.
He swapped it up at the last second when he had enough money, and he just went right for a Dagon 4. So the burst damage out of Tinker is going to be incredible. That Dagon 4 dealing 700 damage, amplified by the Aether Lens and all of the intelligence. He has a spell amp of about 16% right now, so he's a big factor in these fights. And if they don't have a response for him, if they can't Slardar stun and lock him down and kill him at the start, he will just be dealing insane amounts of damage output. I would not be surprised at the end of this game to see his have damage dealt to heroes doubled up on anybody else in the game.
And he pretty much can burst a lot of these heroes from full to nothing.
Oh yeah. Other than the Medusa, because of the mana shield, I'm pretty sure he can just kill.
I think one stun and they're dead.
Yep. And Stony Brook is going to look to get this last outer tower while Tinker just keeps the other lanes pushed out. They will ping out the shrines, take that out, and I would be very surprised to see them not go for Roshan right after this. And a BKB now in Chaos Knight. We saw him lead the charge in that last fight, and he didn't even have the BKB yet. So now with this BKB, he has become a very formidable frontliner who can just tank the initiation from the Slardar, from that Medusa and OD, and just allow his Tinker to do what he needs to do. I actually won't go right for the Roche pit here. They're going to push out the lanes first. Playing it safe, playing it cautious, and now they're pinging out Roche. Now they're going for it. They realize this is the best way to secure the end of the game, and with the lanes being controlled by Tinker and their heroes just pushing out that mid lane, it is going to be an uncontestable Roche attempt here. Not particularly fast with these heroes, but it will go down nonetheless.
Denver is just stalling for the high ground now. They know that how far behind they are, and they just need to get as much farm as they can and wait for Stony Brook to eventually just waltz high ground and potentially make a good defense.
Yep. Denver's Medusa here does have 4,000 gold, but she queued up a butterfly here. I was going to ask, is it time for a possible rapier already? Even though it's only 34 minutes in, they will be pressured into a high ground push very soon. And as I said, I would like to see a damage item coming out. Butterfly does do that, so you know, I understand the item choice. It might not be the most ideal, but it provides a lot of damage output.
I think MKB wouldn't be a bad choice either.
Right, especially with those lasers and no BKB. They wanted to share the repel across the heroes. It most likely will be a repel going the way of Medusa and BKB finishing up on the OD. He has enough money, but he won't be able to have buyback if he buys it. So with this high ground push coming up very shortly, the buyback status, there is buybacks on everybody other than the supports, it would seem, for the Radiant squad, but the Tinker does not have it for Dire. I don't think it really is too relevant not to have it on Dire because their high ground won't be being pushed, but the fact that the 3 cores have it on Radiant is a big factor in this next fight. It is basically going to be a 6 versus 8 engagement if they use these buybacks correctly, because the Aegis is on Chaos Knight. That's why I say 6.
Boots of Travel 2 is also up on Tinker, so he's able to immediately reinforce anywhere on the map now.
Alrighty, so Chaos Knight queued up for a heart after this BKB. He's just looking to be bulky and be annoying. He's not too concerned about damage output because the heart, the armlet, these treads, they all give him damage just through the nature of illusions and bulk stats.
Reality Rift pierces spell immunity. That's his talent, huh?
Yeah. I guess it's pretty good, but it doesn't provide a stun through spell immunity. Like, it does provide that, like, relocation of the other team, which is a pretty unique mechanic. You only see it on a few heroes, like Pudge. As I say that, there's an initiation mid. They will amplify and stun onto the Sand King, but a counter initiation immediately from Centaur with the ultimate and blink stun onto 3. It will be a Guardian Angel coming out of Omni Knight here. OD is going to try to go down here. They will end up securing the kill with the blink stun from Sand King, but they will have some sort of response. No, they will not. That's actually going to be 4 dead, a triple kill for the Chaos Knight, and that's going to be 5 going down, 5 for 0, and Aegis is still up. BKB used on Chaos Knight, questionable. It could just be, you know, out of joy, pressing all your buttons on your keyboard and accidentally hitting it, but that will be a good game
They call
call.
GG.
Even with buybacks available on 2 of their heroes, they're not going to hold. An incredible comeback from Stony Brook. They're going to take this to a game 3. Wow. I don't know what else to say about this game. This was a solid play from Tinker, definitely carrying his team on his back this time.
Tinker's a sneaky hero there. He didn't show much impact in the early game. Got some couple counter kills, but they all mattered because it meant he got a pretty fast blink after his Boots of Travel, and then coming in with his team with counter initiation from the stuns, he was able to just turn around a lot of those fights and carry his team.
Yeah, and you know how I said I wouldn't be surprised if Tinker doubled up damage on every other hero in the game? He has almost triple the next highest hero. So he is definitely carrying the team on his back with that 10-0-17 performance.
30,000 damage.
Alright. So game 3 will be coming your way shortly. We are going to put a short word from our sponsor before that. Band Gaming, thank you once again, and we will be back for game 3.
Only $14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.